This video is about a comment that was posted on the video that I did a couple of weeks ago on methylene blue. The comment from Patricia is about a remedy in the same category as methylene blue, so they are intertwined. It's confusing, and this video isn't about either drug. It's about what has happened to many awakening people that are learning that they have been deceived and are grabbing on to anything they can, as long as it isn't part of the industrial medical system, and I can't blame them. However, there's a way to break away and a way not to break away, and I think it's very important to understand the difference. Years ago, as a government investigator, I used to do a talk at various conferences and events, and it was called How to Spot a Quack. This video is going to discuss one such case that I worked, and I'll have links to legal filings and news publications in the description, as I show you the network that is created by some of these health innovators. The miracle cures have changed, but people have never been more ripe for fraud. They have become desperate and have lost faith in doctors and the system. They don't know who to trust. Many are aging and have become dependent on the system, and they are so afraid. We must understand this. So that's how at Patricia Sideri 3817 has inspired me once again to share this information to help people raise their density and the associated senses which protect them. Here's Patricia.
First off, I want to wish you a speedy recovery. I am so sorry you had such a terrible fall. You are a very special, strong woman and offer so much. We need you well. Thank you for your very informative and extensive information on CL02. I am sure that there are many others that will greatly appreciate and benefit from your contribution. Blessings to you. I hope you are able to enjoy your company fully. Have a wonderful day.
I'm so glad that you commented on this video because it was just for you. And I'm already better. We're going to check out a beach venue for X-Pharmacon this weekend. It's an area where I used to live, which is absolutely one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's meant to be. This is a good place to ask you to hit all the buttons so that we can be connected and our thoughts will be shown to many more people. Shop if anything interests you. Tell me what you might like to see in the shopping, and if you'd like to leave a super thanks, it helps with channel expenses. Still working on memberships, and now let's move on. On this video and any other video that I do about alternative claims, I am reluctant to do them for a couple of reasons. First, every single time I do, I get some zealot that has used the product and didn't have adverse effects. Of course, I am happy to know this and welcome such comments, but they are always really abusive comments, and that energy coming at me is the last thing I need. Thankfully, there is so much beauty on this channel that the blind don't affect me. I just turn around and use the experience to help others as I will with this experience. I get this on ivermectin, methylene blue, and now taurine dioxide, but I think it does need to come out for their own protection. It appears that these people that are so mean and unable to consider alternative thought are the same ones that were liberal during Obama and Clinton, and some of them were fooled by the vaccine and have partially awakened. I pray that they didn't lose someone they love, but they are angry and my heart aches for them. I try to touch them, but the last one reported the video to YouTube as misinformation, and sadly, I had to ban them from the channel. I don't like doing that because those people are the ones who need to understand the most. Also, I do a pretty good job of getting my videos banned myself, so I don't need mentally ill people trying to get me banned, and I don't mean that in a snarky way. I just want to lay low, do my thing, and connect with you guys. The drama is physically not healthy for us, so I just can't allow it on the channel. let me explain why I believe they are mentally ill. Regardless of whether they have changed political parties or not, they still have symptoms of the brainwashing. Let me explain how. The first behavior is to attempt to silence alternative opinions. The person didn't just turn off the video, they had to report it to YouTube to have it removed and strike me. Secondly, they don't do their own research. They follow a narrative that their other brainwashed friends have likely suggested to them, or perhaps they found it on a search, but the reality is that they heard what they wanted to hear and they vehemently defend it with vitriol. And that takes us to the third reason. The hate that spews from them is so far from the creator, and exposing others to that vibration lowers everyone's frequency like a cancer that spreads. Many of you on this channel have fought hard to free yourself from the Matrix, and I will do what I have to in order to protect us until that person is no longer an energy vampire. So I hope you guys understand. I have chosen not to call the person out or even share their hateful statements with you because it has no value or productive purpose. Perhaps one day they will break free of the monster that has stolen their mind, heart, and identity. It's very sad, and I hope that most of you no longer have to deal with such influences in your life. Are the ones that called you crazy waking up yet? I love to hear awakening experiences. So let me clarify my videos regarding these miracle cures that pop up. I am not saying to anyone that they should never research and consider any alternative treatments. My goal is simply to help you guys understand how the human body and the nature of man works. I have investigated quite a few snake oil salesmen in my time with the state. Some truly believe in the product that they are promoting and use it themselves. But a deep belief or need for a miracle cure doesn't make it true. I hope to demonstrate how some people promoting these treatments really are behind the mask and so-called credentials. So wait till you hear about this case that I worked. Back in the 90s, I worked a case for 12 years with both state and federal task forces. I took over the open case from the agent that I replaced. I didn't know a thing about fraud, but I was a pharmacist, and boy did I learn a lot from this guy. His name was Richard T. Kimball, and one of his companies was named Discovery Experimental and Development, or DD. He had numerous other companies, and I'll share the ones I can remember, but they really did nothing and were only a way to hide evidence. The action was all going on at the DD lab in Wesley Chapel, Florida, and an apartment in San Ysidro, California, and Phoenix. Over the years, the MO changed several times to avoid detection. Discovery Distributing Inc. and Aztec Inc. were shell companies that money went through, but no real businesses existed. B&B Freight Forwarding Inc. was active and involved in the business and the movement of money. The Global Health and Medical Research Institute was a corporation whose location was in a rented suite high-rise, and the leasing agent said it was the smallest space in the building. When we got into the unit, it was the size of a closet and contained nothing but filing cabinets of literature promoting his miracle drug, with studies from the Institute in a closet. Kimball's wife was also a corporate officer, and it appears that this business remained open until 2008, so it's likely that this company was used by his accomplices after his incarceration, along with another company at the time called Strictly Supplements. Kimball's wife, Josephine, was also a corporate officer for Discovery Tour Wholesalers, which was a travel agency in the same building as the lab. An annual report was filed for this company as late as 2005. There was also an SSI Enterprises, Inc., registered in Florida and operating in Las Vegas. It warehoused, manufactured, and shipped dietary supplements. Officers of this company included the wife, the son, and stepdaughter, so it appears the family continued his operation after his incarceration. They were definitely dedicated to their cause. The son continues to have an active corporation in Florida, so this operation was a family affair in which Kimball involved his entire family, even after his incarceration, but Kimball was the only one prosecuted. Eventually, James got hooked up with the International Advocates for Health Freedom, where he solicited donations while engaging in a smear campaign against myself and other agents in the investigation across numerous governmental agencies. There were federal warrants executed in about 4 locations in Florida and more in California. We found 2 large blue drums of pure ephedrine powder in his young son's bedroom closet, among a whole lot of other evidence, which included shredded orders for thousands of dollars of drug from that morning. The ephedrine was a key component that he used in the manufacture of the drug, and I never figured out why the drums weren't at the lab unless he had them shipped to the home. The mastermind of this drug and the Global Institute had a 6th grade education, but he was very cunning. He had jet black hair that lacked luster and looked like black shoe polish, but he had a full head of beetle-like hair that became white quickly in jail. Mr. Kimball had been a vehicle and equipment salesman, had a deep, booming, and commanding voice, and he was very personable. I remember this deep, maniacal laugh that I kept on my computer for inspiration. He had a wife who was involved and a son about 10 years old at the time, and it was very sad, but it was the only way to stop him. He also had a stepdaughter that was running the operation out of San Ysidro, California for a time in order to evade detection. The drug that he was marketing as a dietary supplement to evade drug laws was called Deprenyl. That was his product name for a chemical named selegiline, which is a prescription drug that was patented as Eldepril by Somerset Pharmaceuticals and approved for Parkinson's disease and under study for Alzheimer's disease. There were many problems with Kimball manufacturing, selling, and shipping the drug in the U.S. mail, but the main safety concern was that the drug was already prescription, because it is a prodrug and breaks down to amphetamine and methamphetamine in the body. Can you imagine heart patients and stroke candidates buying this drug through the mail? It was a real health risk to most of the elderly. Mr. Kimball had an international cult following because he was indiscriminately selling this drug to old people whose doctor wouldn't prescribe it. He was the car salesman who was persecuted by the government and would take your personal phone calls any time of the day and give you his professional opinion. He did have an elderly doctor there, but I think he was a chemistry PhD, but some of the correspondence we found addressed Kimball as Dr. Kimball. You will see in the links that Mr. Kimball sued me and others for disclosing trade secrets that he stole from Somerset Pharmaceuticals, who were our witnesses. The guy had the biggest balls I've ever seen and was like a bulldog that never let go. This guy was so litigious that U.S. Customs, who was the original lead agency, dropped the case against him and gave him seized evidence back. I did this video for 2 reasons. One is that I have seen many instances such as this. There are safety risks that the average person may not realize. My goal is not to dissuade you from doing or not doing something. It's to provide you a balanced, non-commercial perspective to assist in your decisions. I learned a long time ago that I can't control anyone but myself, and people are going to do what they are going to do. The video then developed into my sharing another piece of myself with you. There are not a whole lot of the documents online regarding the case, but there is a lawsuit against us and a bunch of propaganda where we, my department, and I are named numerous times. You will hear how I violated his civil rights and stole the trade secrets that he stole. Then later, apparently the prison system was inhumane to him and he sued them too, but he had no money to defend himself. So when I do these videos for you, please understand that I am not arguing about this. You don't need to send me links because I've likely seen them. I've done my due diligence and I hope you will do yours before messing with your body. But it's your choice and doesn't affect me or anyone else but you. That's the beauty of free will. Testimonials are always welcomed as this is valuable information, but calling people names or berating them is not. Our next video will be back to disclosure with a space portal in the United States that you might not have heard of, so please stay tuned and always know that my goal is to interact with you in a positive way that benefits everyone. Till next time. Be kind to everyone you see. It's sometimes tough. The more you practice, you kinder and more joyful your world becomes.